I'll start with a brief interaction I had with two young women.
Ooh.
I'm at the end of the show, just crushed. You know, people are fainting over me. You know, everybody's cheering.
Fawning. I think
fawning. No, feigning. They're feigning. No tea either. Just feigning. It's a new thing I'm starting.
Feign is a word, but it doesn't mean anything good in this.
I don't know what it means. I don't want to know what it means.
I think it means faking.
Yeah.
Like feigning interest, like I'm doing in this story right now.
Yeah. No, they were faking liking me. But two young women coming up to buy shirt. I'm selling merch. And I would say one is on the petite side and one is not. To put it nicely. So
I hope this is important to the story, just because otherwise
it is. It's absolutely
it's quite offensive. Jess.
Absolutely important to this story.
That's kind of the dynamic of this
would
podcast.
Not
by
make
the way,
sense.
one is on the petite side, and one is not.
Podcast hosted by two white comedians, a stereotype about the blandest ingredients that childhoods didn't prepare them for life. Sexual tension you can cut with a knife. Podcast. Two white comedians. Podcast. Two white comedians.
All right,
Hello.
fucking back again.
Yeah. I know
It's been a while.
You've all been waiting.
Well, yeah. I mean, the folks won't know because these episodes might come out the same day as each other.
How long has it been though?
I don't know what the exact day was, but it was right after you took whatever third place, and
So right at the beginning of December, and it is now almost the end of January.
yeah. So we've been talking about doing this podcast for a lot longer than that, by the way. So
Yeah.
we're like, oh wait, shit, hold on, let's get
We
these
have-
lights on. Hold on, for folks watching on, if you're watching on YouTube and you're like, these guys are so
Those
poorly lit.
calves.
Hold
God,
on.
I'm so jealous of your
Of
calves.
my calves?
Yeah.
Oh man, we got.
So, ooh,
There
look
we
out.
go. Now it's the big time.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, so my life went into fucking turmoil after we recorded it. Well, we'll talk about it in a moment, but so the shortly after we recorded the podcast, I did a show in you got big life stuff too to talk about. I understand that.
We got time.
I did a show in Everett. Our buddy Adam
No relation.
Tiller, yeah, not the city of Everett. Not you go to that. There's a weird story with that, right? City of Everett, the Everett Improv, wild show. Drove up there. I had to piss so bad when I arrived because I drink a lot of water when I do comedy.
Yeah.
And I went to this like chicken wing place, and I was like full on pee-pee dancing outside of the bath. It was good. It was so embarrassing to have like a 65-year-old man come out from cleaning it, and he's like, and I'm like literally just like a fucking child pee-pee dancing outside of this. And so then I do the show. I think I had one beer after the show, which is actually I've started to take to like not having anything to drink alcohol wise because I'm like I always have to pee on the drive home.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to you partway through, and I'm like, I gotta pee so bad. I was like, we were, talking about the show on the drive home. I gotta pee so bad. I get off of I-5, and I'm like, this is really bad. This is very bad. I'm on local roads at least, so I do the thing where, because I feel like, have you ever seen the movie Hancock? It's Will Smith and Charlize Theron.
Yeah, he's like a superhero guy.
Yeah, and they're like in love with each other or something, and they're constantly being brought closer together, and then bad things happen when they're close together and they go apart. Mm-hmm. Something like that is the thrust of the end of the movie. Anyways, the closer I get to my bathroom, I'm like, it's like the feeling intensifies. Do me a favor, can you look on the back of that camera and make sure I'm in frame? This is the one thing I didn't check. I might be too fat for the frame. Am I too fat for the frame?
You're not too fat for the frame. Where do
I don't have to be perfectly centered. Just look at the screen. Am I in it?
You're in frame.
All right, good. I could crop it down. Okay, so that's good pod. The whole beginning of this is so professional. What we've done so far.
I mean, who are we? What are we trying to do here?
So yeah, I drive home. I probably had to piss. I live in Tacoma. I had to piss like Des Moines-ish. is when it really started to crank up. I get off the freeway in Tacoma. I reach my hand in and pinch off the tip, that's like last resort
That's
move.
yeah. That's
I'll tell you that was too early to go to that move. That's like I would not. That's like at the end of my block. I might do that.
right. Yeah, that's there, and there's so little opportunity to pee between. I mean, like Fife and Everett.
Yeah,
There's nowhere to go.
I was riding with our mutual friend Willie Dean the other day, and we went to a Seattle Northgate gas station, and it's a no bathrooms for anyone, so we just peed in their parking lot. Like, we're gonna find a bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm a white dude in America. I'm finding a bathroom. Okay. So anyways, I've never said this sentence before. You and I were on the phone up to the point. The other part of this is I pulled it too early, got to a light, had to like shift. So I had to do something in the car. It was too much motion. Pissed my pants completely.
Yeah.
like unloaded like a pint of piss. Luckily, I will say, very little of it touched my seat. My pants.
Oh, that's great.
Were soaked.
That's great.
But my seat was mostly unscathed, which was nice because I had an 8 or 10 hours of driving to Coeur d'Alene and back the next day for a corporate gig, which is great to walk into a corporate gig just smelling like piss, like you've been saunaing and piss the whole drive. However, pissed my pants. And I told, but then you're still pinching. Like I didn't unload it all.
Right.
Still pinching,
still
holding on to the vast majority of the tank remains in the tank. And I said a sentence to you that I cannot believe I would ever say. I said, I gotta get off the phone. My fingernail is digging into my ball sack right now.
That was, to be on the other end of that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. Because I knew exactly where you're at. I keep a bottle in my car specifically for piss. Actually, for my best Christmas present this year was like the cream of the crop piss jug. I haven't used it yet. I haven't christened it yet, but I got a big road gig coming up. So tell me,
how do you do it when you do it? Because I'm worried, like, are you pull off to the side and then you're like, get into your passenger seat, hunch over, piss, get back in your driver's seat and drive?
Ideally, I am pulled over.
Okay, so,
I've done many times without pulling over.
Oh, this is crazy. This is scary to me. I don't know if it's because I don't have enough soft length, but like...
it's certainly subjective specifically because of that.
You have to have soft length.
It does require a bit of a drape.
Okay.
But it's also...
I feel like my soft length, I'm shooting at like a 45-degree angle up.
Yeah. So it requires a bottle that is short enough, but still it's now got to be wide because you need capacity.
Yeah.
You need a mouth of the bottle to be big enough, not just to fit your penis into, but also you want air around the penis such not to create a seal, because then that builds pressure and that pressure is going to release at some point. And now you got kind of like a piss mist.
It's like
coming
opening
out.
A can of carbonated piss.
Yeah.
Oh man!
But then it's I go like up in my seat as much as I can, and then get the bottle. Like you have to tilt the bottle, but try to keep it as upright as possible. And then you're like squeezing the bottle with your legs because the potential for the bottle to tip. I don't know, honestly.
Okay.
So we'll talk. We'll get into that. Okay. We'll get into that. I don't have enough. I could be the best, and I have not enough experience to know how good
you're the best,
am.
but you've been playing in a remote village in Venezuela your whole life.
Right. Yeah. But so like you're trying to keep the bottle from tilting all the way, because now it's just however much you've pissed, that's going all everywhere. And now don't think for a second that I don't have piss.
All over you constantly?
In my car, on pants. I mean, things are washed, but like piss is getting places.
That makes
typically.
me feel better. Because...
And then, so if you, best case scenario, you get the pee into the bottle, you're able to now, while you're driving, now you've got a full bottle of piss that you have to like get a lid back on and get away properly. But now you have to get a just used penis back into underwear and pants, and you know how you got to shake. That's harder to do in a bottle.
Sure, yeah, you don't
So
have range of motion inside of the bottle.
Yeah, whatever I guess the length of your penis is, you have that much pee.
This is strictly a triage thing. This isn't a pleasure piss at all. This is get the demon out of my body.
Yes, yeah. I'm not doing this for fun. I'm not like, oh boy, can't wait. Like, I gotta piss. I'm gonna go for a drive around the block and do it. But
so what would be the scenario where you would not? This is because one, not doing that. I actually thought the seal. I thought perhaps I could get the whole package in there and it would seal around the. Like if I had an Nalgene bottle, I know. Gotcha. I mean, obviously. Penis alone is not sealing the Nalgene bottle for me. I don't know what you got going on, but that's not working for me. I thought maybe if I got the whole thing in there and kind of like wedged it in, maybe I could get a little bit of a seal so that my upward shot would not come back out on me. But it sounds like that's not viable.
In that case, you would need to have air removed from the bottle such that now that pressure is like filling an empty balloon.
You ever seen someone shotgun a beer, but they put a straw in it? It's like that.
Yeah.
I'm imagining shotgunning a bottle of this right now. Yeah, I'm thinking of it like a sump pump. Like it has to go up, so it's got to be pumped. We need some motion in the line.
Right. Yeah. No, that's fair.
To get it moving.
Yeah. So, worst case scenario, you're doing it while driving because there's nowhere to pull off.
Sure.
I typically now, because I pissed many times in my car, whether it be on purpose or on accident. But now I know to just pull over when I feel like I have to, like when it's starting. Gotcha. I find a nice place to pull over away from homes, especially like 2-story homes, where people can look down on you. And then I don't get into the passenger seat. I don't get into the passenger seat.
First story, it's just we're blocking the windows out with that thing. But the second story, look at a real look at the.
I guess I mean, you're not gonna see it from a 2-story window. I just holding the bottle, people are gonna know I'm at the very least pissing in my car, and I don't want anybody to
because you're doing it like that. In that case, you're doing it like behind the door. So from the you're in the car in that situation.
Still in the car, yeah. Okay, I never get out of the car.
Okay, the I will say like very often I would pull off and piss into like a general wooded area on the freeway very often, and I don't do a lot to get. Most of the time I still have my feet on pavement when I'm doing that. I'm not even walking into the woods. I'm like pretending like the door. I'm like making some. My thought is like if a cop comes, he's gonna understand. Like, yeah, dude, you gotta piss.
Yeah,
and especially if it's a misogynistic male cop that's on my side, and he's gonna go. At least I've given the effort to like cover up a little bit, which is from the other side. It's not helping anybody.
Right. You're not pissing like at traffic.
I don't stand. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I'm typically now pulled over in the driver's seat. I try really hard not to pee while driving now because I've had successful like all the way through no piss on the pants, but like typically best case scenario I got dribbles on my pants. So if it's like a show thing, then I really make sure I'm pulled over. If I'm on my way home, listen, there might be some pee on my pants when I get home.
Sure.
The wife is used to that now.
Can I tell you, I was like so one sad thing about this is my the camera that we have in the front somehow it picked me up walking in the house, but whatever area it did not pick up me like stumbling to the side of the house to piss in the dark, which I would have liked to see just like how just insane that looks. Because that's, by the way, like I said, I've done this move, the pinch off move, and you do the pinch, but then after that, like you got your belt is at full tightness.
Yes.
So now you have to take the belt off at full. So now you're like ripping down on it. You're gonna break a wrist, ripping down on it. And also, you're like, you got to get over there and unfasten everything. Otherwise, you've done all this for naught. By the way, pinching and pissing your pants is so demoralizing because you're like, I did all the painful stuff and got none of the benefit. I still pissed my pants.
Right? Yeah. What was all that? What was it all?
What was all this effort for?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I didn't get, and then I actually brought my pants in, threw them in the washing machine, and was like, I'll never bring this up to my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And the next morning, I was like, she did this thing, by the way, that bugs me. She does this this thing. This is her side of the family thing. I hope they're not listening to this. I've just realized that there's a chance they could. But they do this thing where I was telling her the story. I was like, so I drove all the way to Everett. I'm giving the color of the story, right? Giving some detail to build some tension.
You got to lay the groundwork.
Yeah, and so I go there, and I'm like, I'm standing outside of this bathroom at a chicken wing place, and I'm doing a pee-pee dance. She goes, you didn't piss your pants, did you? And I was like, no, but let me tell the story.
The immediate judgment.
But also, like, where she's just trying to guess the end of it.
Yeah.
I had my mother-in-law do that. I had just an absolute epic, arduous return from Wisconsin where I hit a raccoon in my rental car. We might have talked about this on the last episode, maybe not. I ended up just barely getting in the cutoff to be able to check my bag. By the way, there was a situation with that where I had to piss for like 70 miles of freeway. Got in the airport, through security, finally get to a bathroom, and this asshole that was cleaning it's like, sorry, next one. And I'm like,
You're gonna have more cleaning to do.
I can't pinch in public. So
Keep that mop out.
Anyways, I get all the way, get on this airplane. I sleep like an hour and a half. I drive as fast as I can when I get home so I can meet them for breakfast. I'm telling this story, and she stops me. She goes, I was like, I had this crazy thing. She goes, what'd you do? She tried to guess the end of it. Like
Can't
7
stand
guesses.
that.
That's
Can't
too many
stand
guesses.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So my wife was trying to ruin the story while I was telling it. So yeah, anyways, so the next morning I did admit to what happened. Not that she would have never known. I could have gotten away with it. This was straight up integrity that caused me to, also because I love to laugh about shit like this with my wife. So it's like, it's funny, but anyway, I think that was the last of my. We had a couple. It's hard to remember where the stories ended as far as I didn't. Well, I guess I didn't. We got to get to your big news. You got big life news.
Oh yeah, I got married. I got married on Christmas.
Yeah, nobody was invited. By the way, I got no invite to this wedding.
So small.
I'm an ordained minister, by the way. Nothing. Still.
You were on the list of people to do it, but then
who ended up doing it?
The father-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah, Cameron's.
He could have been the father of the bride in the wedding, for the record.
Right. Well, yeah.
Although I will say, as we talk a little bit more, my Christmas was so fucked up. There's no way you would have wanted me to be your ordained minister. But
yeah. So it turned into, initially it was just like do it at the courthouse, but then it was like trying to protect feelings of family members and stuff like that. Then she wanted to do it. Like, I didn't realize her dad's ordained. I guess he's married a couple people. So she was like, well, I'd kind of like my dad to do it. And I was like, okay, well, now I feel like I got to invite my family. And it was just turned into a whole thing. Fortunately, everything worked out fine. I'm very happy now because she was never like the big wedding dreamer. That was me. I wanted a big wedding. I wanted to dance. I wanted to do the whole thing. And so I was worried going into it, like, am I going to have regrets? But looking back on it, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Keeping it, we kept it short. We didn't even really do like vows or anything. Basically, it was just like, took some pictures, signed some papers, done. Now let's open presents and eat cake. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
You weren't invited to my wedding either, for the record.
I don't think we were that close back then.
No, we were not. Though. We were not that close. There was one comedian at my wedding, and I don't talk to him anymore. So your fate would have been sealed if you came to my wedding. We had a pretty big wedding. That was, a big like 150 people.
Jeez.
Well,
I don't know 150 people. I would just have to invite all of the comics in Tacoma, Seattle area.
I invited like some people that I work with, some friends from childhood. You're 53 years old, so most of the people you know are dead by now. We also had little by little. We had some extended family get invited, like from everybody. My wife's side of the family had quite a big group come. Mm-hmm. My side of the family had a little bit smaller group come, but when we said 150, they were like, "Oh, so like a small to medium-sized wedding." And I'll say this, dude. We had a great day. It was very fun. One of the best days of my, well, no, I guess no, now that we have kids, I'm allowed to rank it
third best day. Yeah,
third best day.
Yeah, but that now who's first and who's second? That's a
very easy one. I'll never tell them, but it's so easy. You kids keep guessing. Hopefully you show this in therapy one day. But no, we spent like $15,000, and the whole time I was just like, we could do like a $2,000 party, and everyone would love it.
Yeah,
and we don't have to have this big opulent venue and all this stuff. And my wife's dress wasn't even that expensive. We got like good deals on stuff because my wife's aunt is like a wedding planner, so she got like good deals for us on stuff, and she didn't work for free, which was very nice. And still 15 grand. And I mean, 15 grand is, it was more than that. That was what we budgeted.
Yeah.
We exceeded that. And dude, yeah, I'm like, if we could do it all over again, if we had to do it all over again, I'm sure that my wife and I would have different opinions, but my preference would be to do like a smaller group, 40 people ish, invite your friend and podcast co-host. But I did 2 weddings. I was the minister for my sister's wedding and my friend Matt's wedding, who he was like my sister. He was already married, which was funny because he's like, "Hey, this doesn't even count. Like, whatever you do can't screw this up. We're already married," which was funny. I'm gonna make sure this is still. It's good for podcasts when the guy keeps checking the cameras every 20 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah, that was interesting. I was and my sister's was all like, she was like, just like roast us. And I was like, oh, fucking awesome. I could have roasted you guys.
It would have been very funny to have just Cameron's family and then you.
It's also funny that I would have felt like a servant, by the way. Like at that point, it's like it was like I came to make the family happy. Yeah. By the way, I did do a corporate gig on December 7th. So that's how long it was that early in December that we so I did this corporate gig, and I've never done a legit like be clean. I've done a couple corporate gigs, but it's always like people that I knew booked me, so it wasn't they were like, we know what you do and that'll be fine.
Yeah. Not
like, please don't swear because Linda from finance is here to. And dude, I had a guy, I started like, because he's got to be clean. I got like 45 minutes of clean, and there was one guy that he kind of like spoke up and became the subject of crowd work and really didn't like it. But it was like every time I'd go back to him, they would laugh, and so I'd start losing them and then go back and it was at the end, dude, I've never gone so quickly from being done with the show as a comic and having the entire audience ready for me to leave and not be there anymore. Like, I think they enjoyed the show. I think it was just fine. But they were like, this is like 30 or 40 minutes in the middle of us having fun. Please stop interrupting it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And then, yeah, dude, I'm going to give you my run of stuff. Because you know about it a little bit, but I probably haven't broken it down quite as this.
Yeah, and the listeners, all 3 of them, haven't heard the story.
We got as of now, literally the only 3, like very few people have. I've sent it to a couple people to be like, this is what we're doing. December 20th, my daughter is sick. We go to a family party because she's been sick like 2 of the 4 years she had previously been alive and not attended this. My wife also sick, so it's not like super bad. They power through. December 21st, we find out my mom got sick from that party. And then I also find out that a friend of mine from college had passed away. I'm in the middle of like a family gathering with my in-laws, and I get this text like, hey, Mark Burkhart is his name. He passed away.
Yeah. And
it was like, oh, well, now I got to pretend like I'm not thinking about this the whole time, that I'm like opening gifts and whatever. And I told my wife so that she could like run a little cover for me, which was nice. But yeah, so then on the 22nd, Nothing crazy happens, but we were going to have a Festivus party at our house.
Yeah.
No, I did a Master Debater. We were going to do a Festivus party on the 23rd. The kids became too sick for that, so we canceled that. The 24th, we go to my wife's uncle-in-law's house. He just had a kidney transplant, so his immune system's very diminished. Mm-hmm. We were not going to go if the kids were sick. My oldest daughter the youngest was fine at this point. The oldest wakes up and she's like, I feel great. And we're like, great. And she looks great. Everything's good. We get in the car. She coughs once. And then by the time we get there, she's like, but she's got this asthma stuff and all this. Anyways.
I didn't know she had asthma.
Yeah, it's like a whole, we could talk about it off the
Gotcha.
podcast. The least exciting and interesting thing for a podcast. But so we get there and we're like, we give her an inhaler and she's like, okay, not perfect, but okay. Mm-hmm. The 25th, Christmas Day, we find out uncle-in-law has COVID. And we're like, oh, shit. So we order COVID tests. No, we didn't find that out till the 26th. 26th, we almost don't go to my sister's house. We end up going to my sister's house. And I can't remember what, there's something about that was shitty. 26th, we find out uncle-in-law has COVID. We get COVID tests, negative. I'm supposed to open for Josh Firestein, but I feel horrible.
Yeah.
I let him know. I'm like, hey man, I feel really bad. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do the show. Mm-hmm. I don't miss shows for being like I'll go get a whole crowd sick. I don't care.
Yeah.
During COVID, I spread COVID all over this country on purpose. It was my goal. It's like Johnny Appleseed. No, but I mean, like,
come see Casey.
No, if I feel sick, I will like if I feel really sick, I would skip. But like, I'm not like a germaphobe or like a hypochondriac. Mm-hmm. So anyways, but I'm testing negative. I'm like, I just feel really bad. I feel like I have COVID. All the symptoms are COVID. Everybody on my wife's side of the family has COVID by this point. Like, to a person, the only people who are testing negative are the people who live in this home.
Wow.
We've been testing and we're negative.
Wow.
We have all the symptoms of COVID. The extended family, or my wife's family, all has COVID. Whatever. So the next, I felt like so shitty on the 27th, which was the first day of Josh being in town. So I canceled that. I'm like, if you're okay with it, keep the 28th on the books. But if not, like, go ahead and drop me. I wake up the 28th and I'm like iffy. I'm like, I don't feel great, but I would probably do the show if that's cool. And then 4 p.m. I get a call. My brother-in-law calls me, which just out of nowhere, no text or whatever, and I'm like, that's never a good sign. And he's like, your sister is like, can't make the call right now. Your dad had a heart attack. He had to be resuscitated by his girlfriend. Listeners may not know this. My dad and I are not on speaking terms. Like, we are not cool. So this is very weird for me because I'm like, well, I've spent the last year and change not talking to this guy for justified reasons, and so I'm going through this, like, range of like, am I gonna feel regret? Am I gonna feel remorse? Am I gonna feel bad that we didn't talk?
Yeah, naturally.
Don't feel any of that, I'll tell you, to spoil that part. The next day he's in the hospital. He has 2 more events, gets resuscitated 2 more times, 3 times in 2 days he gets resuscitated. And then he's actually still, as we speak, he just left the hospital and he's in like a rehab facility at a different hospital. Damn. But, but did you know this? So he had to get sedated and he had to get intubated, and he was on a ventilator.
Like an egg?
Yeah, it's exactly that. It was just, they warmed a room up and he hatched. It was, no, he had the ventilator on. And so 3 cardiac events, sedation, intubation, all 3 of those things can contribute to like a temporary dementia.
Oh shit.
So when he gets out of that, he's still on like oxygen. Dude, it was like my grandpa and all. I went and visited him one time. Mm-hmm. It was like my grandpa, like in the throes of Alzheimer's, where he was just telling stories where you're like, this is clearly not true.
Oh yeah.
Not even like because I know his life well enough, but like, he's talking about how my wife and my daughter watched him climb into a tree to get some attack monkeys out of the tree. And I'm like, all right, dude, like, I'm being like,
you weren't there.
Yeah, exactly. So, And then we like finally it feels like shit's calming down, and my youngest daughter gets hand, foot, mouth disease. Are you familiar with this disease?
I am not. I didn't know we still had it. I've heard of this. I didn't know it was like a thing floating around.
We probably need a vaccination for it, frankly. But the
how does one get that?
I think it's mostly doing a podcast in the same room as there's been. It's I think it's like whatever like contact with. I think it's like a lot. I think it's very transmissible. First off, so
that's just like lying around, and then somebody gets it on their foot and puts their foot in their mouth.
No, I don't
Hands
think it's
involved.
like it's not like MRSA. I think it's like obviously somebody's got to be carrying it. I didn't do a ton of research on it. Just like what can you do, and the answer is like nothing.
So it's just
write it
always out there.
Yeah, you could get it right now.
Oh, one can only hope.
So yeah, like my wife and I. Oh, by the way, my mom finally got healthy, and we did our like get together with her like December or January 2nd. So it's like she was down for 11 days. I was down for a big chunk of time.
Finding out about your dad perked her up.
Oh, that's pretty good. We're cooking now, baby. Yeah, so we were gonna like my in-laws were gonna watch the kids. We were gonna have like my wife and I were gonna have some time together. And as it turns out, like nope, we're all stuck in this house, sick. Everybody else is sick. We can barely leave the house. So we spent like all and then hand foot. We're finally like on the Saturday after New Year's. My mom came and watched the kids, and we went out and had one meal. And we come home, and my daughter had like, we're like. Kids get like diaper rash, right? But
Yeah.
This is like out of nowhere. This is weird. Then we get an email from the daycare in the morning that there's hand, foot, mouth disease going around, and we're like, maybe she has it, maybe she doesn't. And so we finally like, we're like, we're not gonna take her in. We'll see. We don't want her to get it. Also, she might already have it.
Mm-hmm.
She also has this thing called drool rash that you get when babies drool in their sleep. They get like around their mouth. They get like bumps. That's also a sign of. And so they're also like, if a kid has any symptoms, we're going to need you to take them to the doctor and get a note that says they do not have hand, foot, mouth. So we're like, well, she might go in anyway. We had just found this ointment that was working to fix it, but then it starts to come back there, and it's on like her lower back. She didn't get it on her hands or feet. It's not actually confined to your hands or feet. But it's
the mouth.
Yeah, she got it on her mouth.
Yeah.
She did get it on her mouth. She didn't lie. She didn't completely invalidate the disease's name. If it was called hand, lower back, nose, or mouth, lower back, nose. Anyway, yeah, so that's like, by the way, like, you're basically like, you just have to stay home. She just has to stay home. So she was home for another 6 days of, like, 6 weekdays. Including Martin Luther King Day, which the daycare actually I found out was open, which I didn't think it was open. So we were planning on not taking her in anyway.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, so it's been just a lot of like we're all fucking a little cabin feverish in the house, going like, it's fucking great to spend time with our family in this moment, and like wanting to kill each other just a little bit.
What a mess. Well, happy I came. I've been sick for, I think, a little over a month out of the past now 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been sick that much.
Well, you and I were talking about it briefly. I was pretty healthy my whole life, and then at least like not getting like colds constantly, flu ever basically, and then my wife and I got this apartment that had black mold. And so for like that year, we were like super sick.
Yeah, that stuff's gnarly. We just, Cameron found some black mold behind our bed we had to take care of.
Well.
And there's really, unless you rip out the drywall, like there's not a lot you can do to
and this was coming through brick, so it was like, it was rough. And it was like a lot of it. And we had we had been kind of misled on how, because the previous tenant had moved out because of mold, and they were like, we think it was just like some like paint that, like, they didn't say black mold. They said mold. And they were like, we think it was just like kind of like paint residue, but you know, he was a hypochondriac. And then one day my wife moves a bookshelf and it's like the wall behind it is soaked and mold is cracking through the paint. And it's like, oh, dude, this is...
I wonder if they'll find a correlation between black mold and gayness.
Are you talking about
just
you and I, how you and I
Washington,
fucked before this podcast?
Yeah, I'm still sore. No, because it's like Western Washington, like there's black mold somewhere. Like you may not see it, but it's just kind of out there everywhere.
Sure.
And just so many gays.
What about Atlanta, though? Atlanta's and San Francisco.
I can't tell what is that a black joke or a...
Was it just there's a lot of gay
we can
people
cut that
there.
out. We can cut
No,
it. Is there a
yeah,
lot of gay people in Atlanta?
Yeah, it's like Black Hollywood. So it's like all of the stuff from California that you would, all the accoutrements of California, but in Atlanta, and they're all black folks.
I didn't know.
I
guess I don't have my
if you could
finger
tap
on
into
the
black
pulse.
culture, yeah, every now and then.
I'll check it out.
I thought you were calling me gay for a moment, which, I mean, what an honor it would be, but also I'm not. So
Yeah.
have you reached an age where you can just, you don't correct people? I still have to correct people if they make a, you gotta let them know I'm not actually gay. I'm not actually gay, Jess.
Oh, no. I don't really. I mean, I guess I don't have a lot of people like
Accusing you?
telling me I'm gay or like bringing it up in conversation.
Are you talking about my mother and father my entire life? Is that most of my high school teachers? Is that what you're talking about, Jess? You gonna bring that up now?
Shit.
But so anyways, we were like sick that whole year, and my wife had also like just started teaching, so we like whole new germ pool, and then we moved into a different apartment, and we were fine for like a long time. And then you have kids, dude, and it's just like a cesspool. These kids are just like they're little petri dishes, and it's like,
especially if you have more than one young kid, because it's
Yeah.
like at any given time one of them's gonna have something.
dude,
and
literally,
it's just a
it was
bounce
like the one finally got healthy, and literally the next day,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Do you do a thing like if you were sick, and even prior to kids, if like you get sick, did you try to give it to as quickly as possible so you're not passing it
Bleep
back
that
and
out.
forth?
Bleep that out.
Oh, we're not. Okay, sorry.
That's my rule, not your rule.
Yeah. I like the rule though. I should implement that.
I could try to bleep yours, also your ladies. I had one time ever, and I don't want to encourage people to do this.
it with like fart noises or something.
That's fun. That actually might not be bad. Yeah. I had one time where a fan of a podcast of mine got weird. And,
yeah.
Anyway, so I would say the answer is outside of COVID, when we had a kid, when she and my oldest got COVID, the first confirmed time, I slept in a different room and didn't mask or do anything like that. And then when I got COVID and they didn't have it, I slept in a different room. I masked.
Yeah.
I got fucked on both sides of it.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, we don't intentionally attempt to expose each other. We did both get... I got pneumonia. Man, this is I worked manual labor. I won't stop bragging about it. Listen, the working man gets treated so badly, and I know because I used to be one of you scum, and now I don't do manual labor anymore. But I remember I was end of year, so like the last week of December, the company I was working at did year-end inventory, and I was like very sick, and I decided to come in and
Company man,
bootlicking piece of shit, Casey McLean. I've changed since then. I came in and I did inventory. I was very sick. And then I got so sick that I missed the day before New Year's, that we got off for New Year's. And at those companies, a lot of times, if you miss the day before a holiday, they don't give you holiday pay because they think you're just trying to extend your holiday. Because they don't trust you because they think you're a child or a prisoner.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on these goddamn companies. But, so I got pneumonia is the reason I missed it. Her and I had pneumonia at the same time over New Year's. And I'm like Dude, I don't get fevers. When I have the flu or even when I've had COVID, I haven't been over like 98 degrees.
Yeah,
I don't
really
get fevers. I was like 103, like hawking up everything in me. It was really bad. I lost my voice for like a month and a half after it. And the company fucking was like, yeah, well, you missed the day before. So I'm like I come in and I'm like, I'm like having to talk to like vendors. I'm like, like that bad. And they're like, yeah, sorry, unless you get a doctor's note. And then I found a doctor. By the way, this guy that I worked with, he knew this like urgent care doctor that was like the least scrupulous doctor you've ever met, which I didn't realize at the time. He's like, this guy will write you a note. And I'm like, well, I was legit sick. I wasn't like fucking anyone over, but this guy, like, I don't know. I would go see him like every 15 months or every couple months over 15 months if I ever needed a doctor's note for anything. My back hurts, whatever. 15 months after I met him, I get an email. So I'm no longer practicing medicine, but I really appreciate it. I think I could have got this guy to prescribe me fentanyl if I wanted him to.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I always, we've had so many instances where, like, one of us will be sick, and then we'll try to, like, not get the other one sick, and then inevitably the other one gets sick at the tail end, and then it's like a back and forth thing. So now I'm breathing all over, coughing in her face, and...
Well, when you have kids, it's like you still are responsible for those kids, and so you're like, I just pretty much concede that I'm like, I'm gonna get whatever this is. If I'm gonna get it, it will be if I don't get it, it'll be just sheer luck. It's not because I will have not exposed myself.
Right.
When the kid has hand, foot, mouth, you try to like wash your hands more often. I mean, dude, I fucking barely wash my hands as it is, so whatever amount I'm increasing to is not gonna be enough to... If you've ever shook my hand, no, there's fecal matter on my hand. Okay. I've never used hand sanitizer like habitually at all. Gotcha. Like I wash my hands after I shit, but like it's sometimes after I piss, depending on how recently I've showered. But all right, we're back. Technical difficulties, but we are back. We figured it out before too long. But I was telling a story about I took my kids solo to the grocery store one day, and we were like, people, when you take your kids out as a dad, they're like so impressed that a dad has any parenting skills at all. It's such a double standard.
Yeah.
But we're like in line, and this lady's like, you guys go in front of us. I'm like, no, we're good. Like, these kids need to learn patience, so... we don't have to go in front of you. It's fine. And she's like, I insist. You got to go. I have like 15 things. You have 7 things. You got to go. It wasn't like that big of a difference in how much stuff we had.
Right.
Later, like literally we leave there. We go to Infinite Soups in Tacoma. It's a great soup restaurant in Tacoma if you're in Tacoma ever. If this is the marketing strategy they have is just to get local, poorly listened, podcasts with small audiences to talk about them. It's working, folks. We show up, and the guy that's in front of me in line, he's like, you got kids, you can go in front of me. And then we get in there, and this thing happens that, I don't know if you've ever experienced this. I find it to be, I think it's like an introvert's nightmare, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with this? It happens at Starbucks, and it happened this day at the soup place where someone goes, they try to pay it forward. You know what the pay it forward thing is?
Oh, yeah.
So let me tell you why I hate this at Infinite Soups. Because first off, I got money. I can pay for my shit. Also, like someone having to pay it forward, I'm the nightmare. Where it's like I have 3 people. I'm buying stuff for my wife. Also, we're gonna have the most expensive order in this place.
Yeah, gallons and gallons of soup.
And then we the vat. We bought the whole vat.
I'll take it.
But it's like, a couple buys, now they're paying for a whole family soup. And I'm like, no, get the guy behind me. He was very nice. He let it. They're like, no, we're getting his too. And I'm like,
who are these
like, God
people?
damn it.
Where was the camera set up?
Yeah. And then I'm like, can I at least like pay for something so I can tip? Because I was going to give a 50 and get change. And the lady's like, and I go to pull out my card because I don't want to give her a whole 50. And because I was just going to give her some of it. And she's like, we can't even take card anyway, which I knew, but I thought they had changed it, but that's a whole different thing. And so, yeah, it just makes me feel angry. I don't feel whatever they think I'm getting out of this, whatever joy they think they're bringing to my life.
Yes.
I get zero of it. And it's not, it's a flaw in me.
Right.
Because I'm not saying it's their flaw, but it is a thing where I'm like, I get nothing out of this but anger towards you.
Yeah, that is relatable.
Okay. Yeah, that's the end of
That's
that's it.
Yes, to answer your question,
To
yes,
answer your
I can
question,
relate
yes.
to that.
This is a podcast. This is how we
can
yes
relate to
and each
that.
other, folks. Just yes, no and. We're done with ands. We don't like ands on this podcast.
Speaking of weird, I guess this is more not necessarily introverted behavior, but just socially awkward behavior. I was just at the Tacoma Comedy Club this last weekend, the 6th Ave location.
Been there, big fan.
And a couple things. So I guess what's the good one? I'll start with a brief interaction I had with 2 young women. I'm at the end of the show, just crushed. You know, people are fainting over me. You know, everybody's cheering.
Fawning. I think
fawning. No, feigning. They're feigning. No tea either. Just feigning. It's a new thing I'm starting.
Feign is a word, but it doesn't mean anything good in this.
I don't know what it means. I don't want to know what it means.
I think it means faking.
Yeah.
Like feigning interest, like I'm doing in this story right now.
Yeah. No, they were faking liking me, but 2 young women coming up to buy shirt. I'm selling merch, and I would say one is on the petite side and one is not, to put it nicely. So
I hope this is important to the story, just because otherwise
it is. It's absolutely
quite offensive. Jess.
Absolutely important to the story.
That's kind of the
story
dynamic of this
would
podcast,
not
by
make
the way. One
sense.
is on the petite side, and one is not.
So they ask me what sizes I have, and when you're talking to multiple people, you try to make eye contact with everybody. You know, you go back and forth, you're making eye contact, you're keeping it nice. You don't want to exclude anybody. So they ask me, I don't remember which one asked me what sizes I have. I tell them, now let's say the more petite one's over here, and the other over there. And I say I've got everything from small to XXX.
It's the perfect answer, I gotta say, because oftentimes I will not do the math of how rude something sounds, and I will say I have up to 4X. That's my only answer. It's an obviously not petite person, and I go, because they could be buying it for someone who's not them. And I go, I have up to 4X, which is not a nice answer when you're talking to a person of my size. Let's say.
Gotcha. So I look into petite, her eyes, I say small, immediately into the other gal's nice, both nice women, look right into her eyes, deep into her soul, and say up to 3X. And I can't say anything else. I can't be like, I didn't mean because of, this situation. It wasn't so I just had to leave it. They didn't say anything. There was no shift in face, there wasn't a drop of the smile or anything. So we're
got a good poker face.
We're cool. Yeah. She did it nice. So gets a small, gets a XXX. So I was really only one size off, but it just was about as awkward as it could be. I'll never forget it. The headliner kept bringing the story up. He loved it. He wasn't there for it. He was in the green room, but when I told him, he reminded me the next day, and now I'll never forget that. Okay, this one is a lot lot but
I would hope so. I hope you're not just calling this
equally as
a fat
I had this other no.
Some other fat broad came over.
So so we talked about pee kind of at length at the beginning. So this is going to come full circle.
Calling it back to pee.
When you go into a public restroom, say you're in a public restroom, one stall, right? You got one stall, door is closed. What's the first thing you do if you're trying to get into that stall?
I mean, knock or look at the feet.
There you go. You knock or you look at the feet. That's
Okay.
what you do. Those are your two options. I typically, and it's one or the other. They're really, either can be first.
I would say if no one else is in the bathroom, I'm looking for the feet. If other people are in
Fair,
the bathroom, I don't
fair.
want to be dipping my head down and making them think I'm trying to see the
Yeah,
underside
yeah,
of the
yeah,
ball sack,
yeah.
you know?
That's fair. That's fair.
Yep.
So
Because if I'm in the bathroom peeing
Uh-huh.
or whatever my business is, if I'm doing standard business in the bathroom
Yeah.
and I see movements that are not typical of the bathroom, my hackles are raised.
oh yeah,
I raise the hackles.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's a vulnerable place, the bathroom.
Of course it is.
So if you don't want people messing around, you
yeah.
know,
No fooling.
no fooling, no jokes.
How
So
do you feel about talking in the bathroom?
I don't care for it.
Okay.
I
I recently
don't-
reunited with a high school friend. He and I used
in the
to,
bathroom.
Yeah.
You guys catch up over a shit.
We used to go to public places, and like if we both had to take a shit and we were multiple stalls apart, we would just have conversations over.
That's
and
fun. That's funny.
It was for humor.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like intentionally obnoxious,
Yes,
not like
yes.
this is our preferred method of
Yeah,
communication.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
No, I like that. Okay, so you look for the feet, you knock. I'm in the stall. I'm sitting down on the toilet. I'm
Pooping or
not.
peeing?
I'm not pooping. I'm peeing. I'm a sit down peer. I'll say it. No shame. No shame. It's comfy. It helps me.
Can I tell you this invalidates a lot of anything you said about peeing in the car for me? Because your peeing thing's all fucked up anyway then.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
fair. I don't. I've been a sit down peer for a while now.
Sit down pee?
I don't always sit down pee, but if it's available, I prefer one over the other.
If you're peeing with someone that you don't know very well, or someone that you feel like you need to like impress, like me 4 years ago when you still respected me, or your father-in-law, say, would you opt for a stand-up pee if you both went into the
No,
bathroom
because now
together?
I certainly can't pee. If
you
I'm
were-
that
you
in my
shy.
head about what that I was never bladder shy until maybe like 30.
I'm like Forrest Gump. I could pee on national TV.
I used to be able to piss anywhere you told me. On command, I'll piss this way, I'll piss that way.
I'll piss my pants.
Like the wind, I would piss. But sometime
The wind
in
doesn't
my
piss very often.
in my third, but it's everywhere. You know, where could it be?
I think it's pissing into the wind is the idiom.
That's
you're
a different
going for.
one. That's a different one. I just
Pissing
mean that
like the wind.
I'm like the wind. I'm free flowing. I'll piss. You want piss? Here you go. I got piss for you. I got piss for you. I'm like Oprah. Piss under your chairs. You know, you get
You
pissed.
could be a
get pissed.
petite or a 3X. I'll piss all over you. I don't give a shit.
I have up to 3 XLs of piss. So, yeah, I'm a sit down peer.
Okay.
I prefer it. I got just myriad of ailments that prevent me from being able to pee for whatever reason. There was never like a traumatizing experience I had while peeing publicly out in the open, like at a urinal or whatever. And then just one day, my brain was like, we don't do that anymore. And so
I had that experience with marijuana. Where I was like, I loved it. And I was like, ooh, we really hate this. And it's bad.
yeah, that's a tale as old as time. So okay, I'm in the
Oh,
I'm
like
in the
bladder shy, so goddamn original.
So I'm in the stall. I'm sitting down, looking at my phone, but I got my pants down. You know, my dick's out. I think I'm in the process of peeing, and I hear somebody come into the bathroom. Now it's just me and this man. Presumably, I have not seen this
Could be a
person.
wolf.
I haven't seen this person yet, but it's coming. So I'm in the stall, and I hear feet coming toward me. I hear 2 hands press on the door. There's no knock. I just hear 2 hands press on the door. And then
Not even like a hip bump to open it.
Nope,
It's like full...
nope. Just this guy's getting in this stall. So I hear that. Quickly, I say no, thank you, because that's my go-to. If somebody knocks on a
that's a
stall
little
door
sassy for my taste.
or a bathroom door, I like to say no, thank you. That's just fun for me, you know.
Sure.
So
It's got to be super not awkward when you come out and that person's now waiting for you to.
no, I don't care. We're all having fun.
You're only shy. That's interesting that the shyness
So I
Can you
can't.
piss after that guy has tried to pull the door off the hinges? That's the question.
So here's the thing, and here's why I sit down. We'll get back to where I was, but we're gonna take a side note. The bladder shyness, I cannot produce if there are people that can see me for some reason. I can also, because even if I go into a stall to stand to pee into the toilet, if there are people outside of the stall, I can't pee because I don't want them to, for whatever reason, them being able to hear me pee.
I mean, this is
Makes me
insane, but
tense
I wouldn't assume that the hearing is okay.
It's so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't know where it came from. So I'm sitting down, 2 hands press. I have just enough time to say no thank you. Not time enough, though, for that to stop this person from then grabbing the top of the stall and peeking down, look directly into my eyes and into my crotch. Just absolutely brazen. And this is I found out 27-year-old man. Like, this person's been
I don't want to know
on
size.
the planet.
I want to know everything about
You
this
know
guy.
exactly who this person is.
Is it a comic?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Is there a chance? Because there's like 3 options here. One is this
I'm
person-
open. I want to know. I would like some outside perspective because to
Sure.
me, crazy approach. Just absolutely crazy approach.
Okay, so I'm going to give you
It's like the SWAT team of bathrooms.
3 options.
Okay.
The third of which I have a story for to validate it as an option so that I can. It's going to sound insane maybe. So first off is, I assume this person is not cognitively or intellectually disabled in any way.
No.
Okay.
Able-bodied, able mind.
Okay, so the other potential is like someone who is drunk and does not know any better.
Sober as one could be.
Sober as a judge.
There you are. Yeah, that's what yeah.
Sober as the wind.
Sober as the wind. Yes.
I think we have a podcast title. So then the third option is that this person is doing a bit. And I will tell you, when I was in high school, I went to a baseball camp at Central Washington University, and we stayed in the dorms. Dorms have these shared bathrooms, shared showers, etc.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine did come and like throw cold water over the thing and like fuck with me. So,
Was it out of a big Gatorade?
It was a bucket, though. It was a bucket. Like, it was. That would be funny if I took actual blue Gatorade all over me. So there is precedent in the world for bathroom jokes, but is there a chance? So, because the other thing about this is, and what blows my mind whenever someone does something like this and they don't understand the faux pas, the cultural faux pas,
Yes.
is that this means you're probably not the first victim of this behavior.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
27 years of this.
Wow.
Potentially.
27 is narrowing down
Potentially.
how big of a person is
6'3".
and
I don't know the weight, but
3X or petite?
I imagine they're probably wearing an XL, but they're fit. Like this is a fit.
Okay, we're gonna find out who this person
This
is.
is an
after the
athletic
podcast.
man.
All right, that narrows down.
You know
narrows-
exactly who it is. You know exactly who
I can't
it
think
is.
of it off the top of my
They
head.
just won a competition that you had quite a bit of involvement in.
Oh, is it a African American fella?
It is.
I do know that man.
Yes.
He's I like that guy.
Yeah.
I did a show
good
with
guy.
him. I did a show with him. It must have been one of the next days. That's a wild. By the way, from Atlanta, for the record.
That might be a hint. Might be a hint as to why this happened. I thought that was for sure going to be the third option. Unexpected fourth option.
I would have put that in the second drunk category because I would assume that even in the gay community, there's not like there's a pickup isn't You're shitting? Let me take a look at you.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at that.
Okay, so was not a joke, and I know that because there was a peek over, looks directly into everything I've got going on.
Sure.
And then...
You think he should have been the feature after that, and you should have been bumped down to host?
I think he should have left the state.
All right, well.
But so I've already said no thank you. What else can I say? I said, please no thank you. Please, for the love of God, no thank you. So he sees me for kind of a while.
Sure.
Kind of a lingering gaze. And then hands off, head goes down, he's out of there. Leaves the bathroom.
Done. He's
leaves the bathroom.
To put his
whatever
business aside.
he needed to do, out the
Skipping
window
it.
now. He's skipping it. So I come out of the bathroom. I laugh loud in the bathroom because
Sure.
I'm like, that's the craziest thing I've experienced in a while, certainly in a bathroom. So I come out, I'm telling everybody I see. I'm telling this guy, I'm telling that guy. He doesn't say a word to me. It was never brought up. I didn't say anything to him because I'm like, I should hope he's embarrassed. I'm hoping there's a level of embarrassment there. I'm hoping he's reevaluating how he's approached any bathroom previously and will in the future.
Sure.
Never was addressed. Headliner thought it was hilarious. Headliner's getting all kinds of stories from me.
Interesting that you would talk to the headliner about it, but not the guy who did it.
I didn't know what to say to him. I wanted
Sure.
so initially.
I will say it's a thing that you kind of have to hit right away.
That's the thing is I let the window close because my initial thought was going to be to come into the green room and just be like, kind of a wild approach, buddy. You know what I mean? And just like good-natured ribbing. I can't remember if I think he wasn't in the green room when I came in. He might have gone out for a walk and tried to just like reset. You know what I mean?
Jerking off in his car.
That could be. That could be. Let me get a quick one out of that. I saw enough.
An Nalgene bottle.
Yeah. So it was never brought up. Now it's too late to bring it up to him.
Should we get him on the podcast?
That would be fun. That would be fun.
Exclusive
Interview
to just get him to talk about that on.
Well, so I want to know because he has to. Does he tell anybody about this? Does he think about this at all after that, or is this just like he does this so often? He's just like, it's just
my prediction.
Got to deal with that.
Does think about it.
I hope so.
Doesn't tell a soul.
That was kind of my thought. The way that there wasn't like a, sorry about that, man. Like when he saw me next,
Sure.
Face to face, me pants up, dick in.
Maybe he didn't recognize you with your pants up.
That could be. He
was like, that doesn't look like the kind of guy that have that kind of, He doesn't look like the kind of guy that would struggle to fit it into an Nalgene bottle.
Yeah, but just, crazy, right?
That's crazy. That's wild. The like whack-a-mole, the mole coming up over and making full eye contact.
He was like
with
Wilson on Home Improvement. It was like he had advice for me. Bladder-shy neighbor?
Oh, that's amazing. I think that's the end of the podcast. I don't think we can do better than that. Tune in next week, folks, unless we never release these.
Hey, bye, everybody.